What is up, everyone? This is a new podcast that is being started by Alex Sador called Carbs and Kilos. This will be the first episode, the pilot. I hope you guys truly do enjoy this episode. I'm starting this podcast by myself, no one else. I'm going to be having lots of guests on here, people that have never been on podcasts, people that have been on podcasts. Um, I want to use this podcast as a personal documentation of my journey through these next few years because I feel like a podcast, getting down all your thoughts on a podcast is crucial, and also I feel like it's could be very um, helpful in the future. So I'm gonna be starting a podcast. I just wrote down a few questions for the first intro. Probably gonna be around 30 to 40 minutes for this first, maybe even longer. But I'm going for an hour, 30 to 30, 45 minutes to an hour for this first one. But I'm not timing or anything, so we're gonna get straight into this. So the podcast name's Carbs and Kilos. I was actually just in the gym, sorry, not Carbs and Kilos. That's also a good name, Carbs and Caffeine. I was in the gym and I called my friend up and I was like, "Yo, let's think of a good name for a podcast." And I was like, he's like, "Do something with caffeine because you take too much caffeine." I was like, "Bruh," but he was like that. So I was like, "All right, caffeine." And then I just first thing came with me. 5 seconds later, carbs. So I was like, "Carbs and caffeine." I was looking up online to see if anyone had that. Someone had carbs and coffee. No one has carbs and caffeine. So that's our name, Carbs and Caffeine. Gonna get a logo done. Might even get a fucking shirt or something. Um, yeah, we might have to get some stickers, shirts, merch. That'd be pretty cool. I'm hoping to grow this into a decent fan base. I don't mind for it reaching a few people, but as long as it reaches the right people and it motivates people, inspires you, you guys like hearing me talk because I personally want to get better at talking. I do have kind of aspirations of talking to large audiences, even though it's something I grew up and I was like, wow, I never want to do that. But I do definitely like talking to people. I love communicating with people. I love expressing how I feel to people. And I feel like expressing that to a large amount of people in my reach could be good. So that's what I want to use with this podcast, get better on this podcast, stuff like that. Talk to people that I've never really sat down and had a long conversation with because you could definitely tell the difference between conversations with people when you get to the gym. Like hypothetically, let's use the gym for example. If I go to the gym and I talk about if I go to Taylor Atwood and I ask him about the gym, we talk about 5 minutes, that's it. When you go to a podcast with Taylor Atwood, you're gonna talk for an hour or two about everything, this event, this, blah, blah, blah. You can't talk everything about 5 minutes at the gym because you don't have that time, but you get more in depth of that person's life, different things that person went through. So I think it's a really good thing where new people come on the podcast, important people, special people, stuff like that. So we're gonna have a lot of special guests. I'm gonna try to do it in person because I think the Zoom thing is kind of like eh. So I'm gonna try to whenever I have the chance, whenever the right opportunity. This might be a 3-year long podcast. I mean, I hope it's 10 years, but I'm not gonna rush an episode to get this episode. If I want to get a podcast with Taylor or Ryan Lapidat or Carolyn Connor or Leah Bavois, like I'm not gonna rush it. If I see them in person and it works out, it works out. If not, okay, we'll do it on Zoom. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. All right, let's hop into the intro. So, intro basically this is a powerlifting podcast, carbs and caffeine. So, basically, I'm just gonna give you a backstory about my life. What got me into powerlifting, and just a really backstory about my entire life as a human being because I've been on this earth for 20 years and December, January, February, March, April, 5 months. So that's kind of crazy. That is, if you guys ever think about that, take your, like, I've been on this planet, this earth for 20 years and 5 months. It's just crazy to think about. And every day goes on, and every day you get older, become wiser, learn new things. And it just, you try to be enjoying life because, this ain't forever. This is not forever. You're going to die one day. So have fun with it. And yeah, into my intro. So I grew up in New York. I grew up in Ardsley, New York. With my parents, mom, dad, and I have an older brother. He's currently 25, so he's 5 years older than me. Or he's 20. Yeah, he's 25. So he's 5 years older than me. But yeah, grew up in New York and Ardsley, New York, Westchester, basically the area. It's like 30 minutes. My nose is really itchy. I'm sorry, guys. It's like 30 minutes above the city of New York City. So I grew up there, in a suburban area, a good area. Parents took extremely good care of me. To say I was raised well is a complete understatement. I've been raised by the most extraordinary family ever, and I have to just put that out there because I don't have enough gratitude towards my whole entire family, my friends, and that whole support system that I had. Because if I didn't grow up in that environment, I wouldn't be the person who I am today. So I grew up in Orange, New York. I started playing soccer because that's probably the first thing I think about myself is when I was like 3 years old. So my dad got my brother into soccer super early, like same time, like 3 years old for him. And then when they had me, same thing, 2, 3 years old, I was already kicking a soccer ball, but like good though because I don't want to boast about it, but I did pick up soccer very early because my dad was pushing me pretty hard and my brother. So we picked up early, we got good early, and he wasn't just like, "Oh, kick a soccer ball," like that was a sport he wanted us to be focused on. You know how some athletes like Tiger Woods, he's teaching his son, I don't know how old his son is, like maybe 12 years old now, maybe older, to hit a golf club. He's hitting a golf club at 4 years old and he's good at it. He's getting progressively good at it. So when I was young, my dad instilled these soccer disciples, whatever disciplines, into me and my brother, and we got good at soccer quick. And it was our sport. We obviously we did every other sport: soccer, basketball, baseball, football. I was scared of football though. I did flag football, and then once tackle came, I was absolutely scared. I was terrified because I thought my dad was going to put me into tackle football, and I was absolutely terrified of that. My brother was in tackle football for a year, and then he quit after a year because he was scared of it. Yeah, I think me and my brother definitely have a fear of getting of pain and hurt. Um, Kind of subsided over the years because now powerlifting, just all you feel is just pain. But yeah, so I was scared of football, but I did basketball, baseball from basically fifth and soccer, of course, from fifth to seventh grade, and then after seventh grade, it was just 100% soccer. And my whole soccer career, I mean, it's a very long career. I mean, I literally played from 3 to 20 years old. Well, I don't know if I touched. Did I touch? I actually did touch a soccer ball when I was 20. We were playing an indoor league at Penn State. That's where I'm currently at. But yeah, I haven't touched a soccer ball in a while. I'm trying to go full powerlifting. But from 3 to 20 was basically 3 to 17 was full soccer. 16 was full soccer. Yeah, like it was the only sport I was really truly good at, cared about, stuff like that. Pushed myself at, and my family pushed me, and my friends pushed me. And let's see what we could talk about soccer. I guess some achievements in soccer were in I think eighth grade, eighth or ninth grade. I think might have been going to ninth grade. We won the New York State Cup, which was like a prestigious thing for 14 to 15 year old and a team in New York to win. So we won the New York State Cup. I forgot what division, but it was a decent division. And I scored a hat trick in that game, which I remembered. I literally have it on YouTube. If you look up Alex Fedor hat trick, Gold's my video comes up where I score a hat trick. I'm like 15 years old. Some nasty goals, I'm not gonna lie. And I also have different highlights from high school, but again in a second. So yeah, I remember that again. Scored a hat trick in that game, and a hat trick is 3 goals. If you guys didn't know that, but yeah, that's what a hat trick is. After that, and there was a period of time where I was not the best at soccer. I think I grew up was very good ahead of my game, and then for some reason my puberty was sort of late, and also I was kind of in the grade, I was always playing up a grade or up a level. So I'm still very young. So right now I'm a junior in college. I could be a sophomore. So everything kind of is pushed forward a year for whatever reason. That was just how the New York schools worked, or my parents had that work. So when I was playing soccer, I was always 01 and I'm 02. So I'm 2002. So let's say I was a 14-year-old. I'm playing against 15-year-olds that are all 15 and I'm 14. So that's how it worked. So there was a time when I was 12, 13 for 1 year. I was not good at soccer, and it actually hurt my confidence truly like a lot because my coach was being super aggressive. I still remember this. If I see him, like it's just gonna be like crazy because like he'll look at me and like it's actually funny because I do remember going to a tryout and him like looking at me, but he didn't recognize me, but he saw me and he saw how like more built I was, and this was like when I was like a year and a half into lifting, and he was like, is that the kid? Because I was super skinny. This was seventh grade. I was super unconfident. My soccer was diminishing because I wasn't playing good. And then the coach was being super mean to me. My dad was not happy with me. My dad was not happy with the coach. moved to a different team, and then I just started flourishing. And then within that first year, we won the New York State Cup, and I started doing good. And then from there, my soccer just got better. And it's kind of crazy because I thought at that point, I was like, wow, I'm actually not good at soccer. It was actually kind of crazy because I was like, am I going to keep playing this? And I saw my brother, he was doing really good in high school, and he was like in the academies. I never actually even made it to the academies except for my last year. I was in these like premier, which was good teams, but he was more of the Division 1 athlete. He goes on an academy team. He's going to go to Division 1 school. I was more the average player, but like the top of the average players, I would say. I mean, I don't even know if that's like the correct term, but I was good, but I was not as good as my brother, if I could say that. But I was definitely good. I was leading my high school in goals. My sophomore year, I lead in my high school in goals, or I might have tied the striker because he was very good. And then junior, I led goals, and then senior, I led goals for the team and assists. I'm pretty sure I led for both. So I got achievements in high school, whatever those. I don't even remember what those are called. But shout out to Eric Patron, my man. He's the best, literally the best soccer coach. He is a social studies teacher and probably one of my favorite coaches of all time. He was just such a good mentor for me, and he's just such a likable person. So shout out Mr. Patron from high school. So yeah, we won a bunch of we actually didn't win stuff in high school, but we high school was the best time. High school was fun with all my friends and playing soccer. It was a blast. But yeah, so I moved. I was playing high school, and then 11th and 12th grade, I played club. This was also when I was like getting into lifting. So 11th grade, I went to a team called I think 11th grade or maybe 12th grade, but it was called Stallions Academy. So it was my first academy team, and I did this because I was like, I need to. My dad was like, you probably should start getting looked at schools, and I was interested in playing college soccer, but powerlifting started taking over, and we'll get more into that in a bit. But yeah, so I started playing at Stallions Academy, 16, 17 years old, and I played there for a year and a half, and that was I'm gonna say 2018. That's kind of crazy to even say that 2018 because I'm like that's 5 years ago. But maybe it was like end of 20. It was like more. Was it 2018? 2018, 2019, I think. And I played for this guy team just for so I get recruited to play Division 1. I was going to showcases basically every weekend. Virginia, Massachusetts, Boston. I was like trying to get recruited. And then it's end of 2019. Have a great senior season for high school. I started doing really good for the club. I started doing decent. I can't say really good. I started scoring goals. I was a striker. And then Coach Bob from Penn State Brandywine, he comes up to my family, loves how I play. And then that's really when I get recruited to play. I think it was December, but I didn't sign until February for Penn State Brandywine. And then, COVID happened in 2020 and all that whole gist of time. But that was basically my soccer career. And then past that, um, I got recruited. I didn't think I was like, wow, like that for me. That was crazy. I was like, wow, I actually got recruited. Penn State Brandywine is just an offshore campus, Commonwealth campus, offshore campus of Penn State University Park, where I'm at now. So my thing was play 2 years of soccer there, and then go up to University Park for 2 years. But not play soccer unless you want to try out for the team at University Park. But you don't have to. And I haven't done that. I might do that next semester. Not too sure, but that's why my soccer journey isn't over yet. But yeah, first year, it's COVID. It's March of 2020. At this time, I'm only powerlifting, but I don't want to get to powerlifting yet. Still want to focus on soccer because that's what we're focusing on. I am talking extremely fast, and I'm already 13 minutes in, so I feel like I'm gonna talk for 14 hours. But yeah, so it's March of 2020. I'm like, wow, like, are we gonna have a season? Finish at the high school, and it's bittersweet at the end of high school because COVID and everything that happened. So, and at this time, I'm not playing any soccer. It's actually funny because I quit Stallions Academy before I got recruited. So I quit them, and then I got recruited, and they were still interested in me to play soccer because I thought after Stallions, um, it had more happened like this. I quit Stallions, but he was still like involved with like Penn State Brandywine was still involved with like soccer. They're like, oh, you should come, blah blah blah, check our campus out. But Worlds was coming up because I qualified for Worlds. Feels like fucking ages ago. But I qualified for Worlds, so I quit the soccer team to literally just focus on Worlds that year, which was in June. And then the whole world shut down and everything like that. And then I signed for Penn State Brandywine just because like it just happened. Like I don't know, it kind of just worked out. And I was like, yeah, like I'll still play soccer. It's cool. Like Worlds is canceled. Like we'll go play soccer in the fall. Fall comes, nothing happens. Like we literally just don't play. We practice once a week. It's okay. We're wearing masks when we're practicing, and actually, I don't know if we're wearing masks, but they're being super precautious. The whole COVID stuff. And then we have our first tournament in April, which I do decent at. I think I score a hat trick again, or 2 or 3 goals, and I do good. And the coach is definitely eyeing me. But at this time, I haven't practiced from like December to June because I joined a summer league in June. I didn't touch a ball. So for 6 months, I didn't touch a soccer ball. Like literally not once, probably not once. June comes, I do a soccer league with my brother. Me and my brother fucking kill it in this league. He's like 24 at the time. I'm 19. Oh no, I'm 18. He's 23. We're scoring goals. It's a Ukrainian league. I'm also Ukrainian, by the way. We're scoring goals. We're going crazy. One game we both had hat tricks, so we scored like the game was like 8-2. We both had 3 goals. That was a fucking phenomenal game. I'll always remember that. But I'm doing good in soccer. I'm regaining my skills, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually good at this. Because I haven't played since 6 months ago, and everyone on that team was elite. Everyone on that team was good at soccer, and then on the Ukrainian team, everyone wasn't. They were good, but they weren't up to that standard. So when me and my brother were playing, it gave me a lot of confidence. So going into the season of our, we don't even have a season. Actually, I'm sorry, I completely got this messed up. That summer, that did I? Yeah, I don't wait. I don't think I touched a soccer ball. Hold on a second. I don't want to get this wrong. Bear with me for just 1 second. 2021. That was 2021, right? Yeah, I think I'm messing it up. Oh my God, yeah, it was 2021. I'm sorry. So that's 2021. 2020 soccer. Yeah, I think I had it right for a second, but 2020, I don't touch a ball at all. Like I literally don't touch a ball for I think 2020. Maybe a little bit of kicks from my brother, but that's it. 2020, and then another basically 6 months into 2021. June comes of 2021. I start, I'm like, oh shit, like we're actually gonna have a season. I touch a ball because of practice, but I didn't really count that practice because we didn't play any games. We literally didn't play any games at Penn State Brandywine because the season was canceled. Okay, June comes, 2021. Freshman year's over, easy. Like, wow, that was quick. Practice with the Ukrainian league, I get good, I get confident, and then 2021 season happens, and preseason happens, and I'm like playing with these kids, and I'm like not in a way. I'm like, wow, I'm like probably the best one here, except for my friend Axel. He was a very good player as well, but like at the time, but I was like, wow, like I'm like actually like I can like dominate in this. I could do that, and sometimes the teams we play were actually terrible. Like sometimes I would score 3, 4 goals, and it's like not because I was good. It's because the teams were just that bad. In some games, I would score 2 goals, and I was like, that's a hard game, and I actually did. I felt like those goals were good. I scored, but regardless, we had a phenomenal season. I scored 26 or 7 goals with like 30, with like maybe not 13 assists, maybe 10 assists, 9 assists. I was top. I had the most goals, and I had like the second most assists in the nation for the United States Central Athletic Association, USCAA. If you look up USCAA Alex Store, you'll see all my stats for there. To not call bullshit. Penn State Brandywine Soccer Alex Store stats. If you guys want to check me out, it's literally Google information. Phenomenal season. And then we win the national championship. So we won our conference, the PSUAAC, or PSUAC. I think it's PSUAAC. Boom, we win that easy. Go to the chip, go to the Natties. We win that. They haven't won that, so that was 2021. They haven't won that since 2018. And the coach that we won that with was a different coach. So he was obviously happy that we won. That was the first time he ever won a Natty chip, I'm pretty sure. And then this following year, the 2022, I wasn't there, but they actually lost. They made it there, but they lost. So I'm like, shit, they fucking needed me. Like, not to be fucking, I should have been there. But then I came up here. But we won that. We had a great season. I have it all in this is my apartment. I have it all in my house, at the house. And this is where I brought Carolyn, I think, for the first like kind of soccer thing, because she hasn't really been involved in my soccer career, because we started dating February. Her birthday's February 17th. We started dating February 24th, 2022. She's gonna be like, "Oh my God." We started dating February 24th, 2022. Her birthday is February 17th, 2022. I didn't forget. I just had to recall it for a second. Um, but I bring her to the soccer event, and I bring her. Okay, I just lost a complete train of thought. I bring her to the soccer event, and they're just calling my name up and up, like highest goal scored, highest assist, PSUAC conference, PSU All American, this. I get like 7 awards, and I'm like, holy shit, like holy. And this was like 6 months or 5 months after the season. It was in the spring of 2022. So it was like May of 2022, and I'm like getting called up all this shit. I'm like, holy fuck, like I didn't know I got this many fucking awards, and it felt good. It really did feel good. And then since then, well, since the season, I haven't touched a soccer ball. So it's been that's fucking crazy. I mean, it's been a year since the thing, so it's been over a year since the season, which is crazy. But that's really where my soccer career ends. And then I played at an IM league this past semester, or last semester, and it was it was shit. It was the thing about me is if I'm playing a sport like soccer, I hate being on a team that doesn't have good athletes or that doesn't people that people aren't trying or that we're playing with like these IM league kids and like on our team it's just like pass the ball to me. It's like they don't even know how to do the fundamentals, which is annoying. And they're like 18 years old. So personally, if I had to play soccer again, I need a good team to play with. I need good people to be around with, and it's just like super important because if you're playing with not good players, it's not motivating. It's not motivating for you. And on the the Penn State Brandywine team, we had some good players. I was the top of it, but we had some great players on the team, which is it made it awesome. It made the season really enjoyable. And we had a fucking blast. So that is literally, I guess my sports background. I don't want to say my entire intro because that's like just like my sports background. Because I got like intro background and then how I got started into powerlifting. I mean, more about me. Let's see. I'm Ukrainian, so that's my sports background. I just spent 20 minutes on that. That's crazy. And then we'll get to powerlifting because that's like the whole gist of this podcast, right? Um, I'm Ukrainian, Eastern Orthodox. Easter was last week, so um, we celebrated a week after American Easter. We call it American Easter, just regular Easter. That's Eastern Orthodox Easter, Eastern Orthodox. We celebrate. I'm pretty sure it's changing this year. That's what people. That's what a cousin was saying. But we celebrate Christmas on January 6th or 7th. January 6th and 7th. January 6th and 7th. And yeah, it's just different days for stuff. So I was actually. I know Ukrainian a little bit. I went to Ukrainian school. I went to camp for Ukrainian school, sports camp. It was called Sportovy Tabir Vishkil, which was like learning about like the Ukrainian um history. And it was like we actually went to school in the summer, but it wasn't as bad because we were with our friends. We get pool time. It was a great sleepaway camp overall. Like obviously the Ukrainians, if they're watching this, you guys know the camps fucking phenomenal times. Going up there for 4th of July, going up there for we have a thing called Sum, which is like our it's like it was like a Ukrainian I don't even know how to put it. So it's like a Ukrainian Olympics where you're in because I'm in Westchester. There's a town called Yonkers that where I'm a part of that Ukrainian organization. That's where I could say it, and it's under the organization of Sum. That's what it's called, Sum. So Yonkers is why I'd be. So I'd go there. I would dance there. I did dancing. I did Ukrainian folk dancing. I did the dancing on Tuesdays, dancing on Wednesday, private dancing on Wednesdays. My mom would put me through that. It was actually decent, but I didn't enjoy it most of the times. But I did get a lot out of it. I grew. I grew as a person. But yeah, and then at the end of the Zoom thing, there's like we would go to Ellenville, which is in New York, and we would do like a kind of like a mini Olympics where you'd get points as Yonkers, you get points as Passaic, you get points as Whippany, and it's basically just showing more of my Ukrainian background. And for when we went there to get points for your let's say your hometown. I don't even know your city. Let's say Yonkers is a city. Can't speak, but you would have to like the first events would be writing a poem or reading a poem, and you have to memorize it. My mom would make me memorize this poem. I can't believe I'm even thinking about this because I used to do this, and it was the worst part of it because I have to memorize this poem and mom would have to read it to me and I have to read it in Ukrainian. It's not reading a poem in English; it's reading a poem in Ukrainian, and I wasn't that good at Ukrainian, so she read me this poem. She's getting mad at me, and I'm like, I'm trying to learn it. I would sometimes learn it, sometimes not, and I'm trying to read it to these people because they would grade you and give your we called it Riz, but basically your city points. Like your city state, Greek, Athens, but we call the Yonkers. And then we would do that. We had a written exam. I would literally I was literally bringing our city down because of how bad I was doing on the Ukrainian stuff. But once it came down to the relay races and the shot put, I was just dominating in everything, you know? And it obviously come in ranks. So like if I threw the highest shot put from the 14 to 15-year-olds or the 12 to 13-year-olds, like I get the highest points for already. And then at the end we'd have like a podium and they would make this shit awesome. So, you know, I'm getting first in these relay races. I'm getting first in like the baton races. I'm getting first in the shot put, even though I wasn't that strong. I was doing this long jump. I was fucking, you know, yeeting myself, fucking throwing myself across the body for the fucking points. Soccer, I was going, oh, we had a soccer event. That's like the only sport, like it's like the only team sport we played besides like relay races because like you're handing baton. I was like going crazy. I was scoring hat tricks when I was like 5 years old or like 8 years old. I was going crazy. But yeah, that's basically my Ukrainian background. Um, and yeah, shout out to the Ukrainians because you know we the best people. But yeah, that's another part of me, like Ukrainian, the heritage, going to church, going to Ukrainian church, you know, and then camp and everything. I have my Ukrainian friends. Um, what else is there? I didn't really think much else besides my sports. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's so much to dive into. I could dive into friends. I could dive into family. Like there's so much I could dive into. Just don't know which direction I want to go into. But I think that's a decent about myself. Decent enough about myself. I guess about like my general past. But yeah, so basically cover the intro, the background, and then you know now we're just gonna get started into how I actually got into powerlifting. And this is usually what I say on most podcasts, like how I got into powerlifting, blah blah blah. And I'm probably gonna give like the most, like I usually give the generalized answer, and I try to go in depth on podcasts, so I'm gonna try to go in depth in here. How I got started in powerlifting, so it's always the same thing because it really is. I started lifting weights at fifth. No, I started lifting weights at 13, so I'm 20 now, so 7 years, but 6 years like continuously. 13 on and off a little bit. Planet Fitness with my friend Will. Shout out Will, fucking homie. He's in England right now. We actually saw him at Sheffield. Fucking phenomenal. But yeah, his mom would take us to Planet Fitness, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I think I created a fitness account when I was 13 because I didn't want all the girls to see or guys to see my progress because I was nervous and I was 13 years old. I think I literally called it Sidor Fitness, like no, I didn't call it Cyborg, Sidor Fitness. And it was scary. You know, I was 13. I hit puberty late because I was a year younger than everyone because I should have been the grade below all my friends now technically, which is kind of crazy. But I'm happy I'm not because I met some really great people in my grade and my friends and family: Ryan, Luke, Max, Will, James, Zach. You know, the whole fucking 9 yards. So we met some great people in high school. Whoa, just choked up. Met some great people in high school, but I started working out at 13. But I really started going to the gym at New York Sports Club when I was 14 years old. Because I couldn't get a membership until I was 14. So when my 14th birthday came, I think I was 14, November 1st, 2002. So it was 2016. Yeah, November 1st, 2016. 14 years old, boom, run to the gym, get a membership. Ooh, I can finally work out. I don't know why they had a fucking 14-year-old. You know, I was fucking 13, just but 14 years old, get my membership, and we start going to the gym. Me and Ryan, and how we got into the gym. That's actually a good question too. I don't remember exactly the story, but I'm pretty sure Ryan watched the video of David Lade's transformation, the most famous one. He showed it to me, and I was like, "There's no fucking way that person can do that." You know, I was 14. I was like, "There's no fucking way that person can fucking be like that. It's definitely fucking anabolic steroids. It's fucking trenbolone." You know, like I was like, "No way." So that just got me fueled. Like I didn't like think like that. Probably, I was like, "Let's fucking go look like that guy." You know, that's my inspiration right there. And it was for basically 2-3 years straight. That's my inspiration, David Lade. So shout out David Lade, and I think a little bit. I think I watched Russ's video. I've watched Dom and Zeddy's videos fucking before I was lifting, like Bro Science, hilarious. Like I was watching that shit when I was like 11, 12 years old. I don't even know how I had a phone back then, but I was watching his videos, and his videos were hilarious. I think his first video I ever watched was how to get a girlfriend in the gym or how to pick up girls in the gym, and fucking it's hilarious. But we get into the gym, we start working out, and wow, this is like 6 years ago, so my mind is just like a little bit blanking, but I'm gonna try to recall as much as I can. You know, we're looking at David Lade, we're looking at his progress, and then we see his program. So we started running his program. At first, I think I started running his program, or I was doing a 5x5. So I was like, what's the most optimal thing for I could do? And I don't think I really said that at first, but I was just like, what would he do or what would make sense? So I think either I ran the program or the 5x5 at first, but I know I ran both. So I either run the 5x5 or the program. Pretty sure I run the 5x5 for like 6 or 7 months straight, and I was progressing really good. I definitely had the genetics for powerlifting. Ryan definitely got injured a lot. With the 5x5, he would make progress on barbell rows, on bench press, but sometimes a squat and deadlift. Like he was making a little bit of progress here, but then sometimes he just would not make progress. And I definitely made progress a lot faster. Like I went from like my max squat was 175 at a time, and then like a month later it was 225. Like or a month and a half later, like I maxed out in like October 175. No, November because I got my membership 175, and then a month later I hit 225 in my mock meet. I don't even know how I remember that, but 50 pounds in 1 month. I was like, I was ready for this shit. Like I was ready for powerlifting. Started running 5x5s, and yeah, but like I had like a 225 bench, 225 squat, 140 bench, and 265 to 275 deadlift around, and I did all three because I loved all three. I was around December of 2016. By June, I was squatting 315. I was benching 195, and I deadlifted 365 for like 3 reps. Yeah, I think 3 reps. I think I might have attempted 405, but I didn't get it. And then by November of that year, 2017, I squatted 365. I benched 235, 240, 225 to 235, or maybe 220, maybe 220 because my bench was fucking stagnant. Yeah, 220 because bench was being a stagnant little bitch for a while, and it still is, and it always has been. Even though I could bench 405 pounds, even though I can't do that right now, I'm not even close to that because of my fucking pec. Bench has always been the hardest progress, and then delta time was 405. I pulled 4 wheels there at Mount Vernon Barbell, and then I remember I got injured for a little bit in 2018. I think I just tweaked my back from soccer because I was playing soccer at the time, and going to tournaments stuff like that. But yeah, then I came back, and then 2018, I come back. I almost a year later, I hit 385, or like it was like 385. And that's when I started powerlifting, 2018. So 385 bench, 385 squat, 225 bench, and then maybe like a 420 deadlift. And I was like cutting that summer. I remember that 2018 summer, I was kind of cutting, and I was like pretty shredded. I actually was very shredded that summer. It's crazy. That's 5 years ago. I mean, that'd be 5 years ago because the summer's coming up. But yeah. So that was that summer, and then I was getting ready. So I was getting ready for my first competition, 2019. Yeah, so 2018, and I was getting ready for my first competition, which was in January of 2019. Shout out fucking Paul. I don't remember his last name, but Paul got me ready for my first competition. I was just running fucking Calgary barbell 5x5, but then towards the last 3 weeks, he was helping me. He was helping me like on the track of like hit singles, like hit like a 90% single this day, and it wasn't like RP or anything like that, but it was hit this percentage single and then do 4x4 back down at 10%, and it was solid. And then my first meet, I bring Luke, I bring Ryan, and I'm like I was on the ground beef and rice wave, so I'm like on the fucking meat. I weighed at like 78 kilos, and I'm just like, or like maybe 79 kilos. I'm just like eating my fucking ground beef and rice. My parents are driving us. I'm like, oh, we have to stop for baby powder because that's really important for deadlifting. So we're just making sure we have everything. Got the chalk. I got fucking ready. First meet, United Barbell, Farmingdale, New York, something like that. Farmington, something like that. But United Barbell. Shout out United Barbell. It's actually where my coach trains now. Shout out John Song. But yeah, like that's where the homies train at in United Barbell. So go there, and my numbers at the time were at that meet I squatted 407, benched 231, and then deadlifted 440. So, and it was funny because Luke and Ryan are there, they're hyping me up, they're getting me fucking ready, and damn, I just remember I'm never gonna forget that first squat I took, and then that third attempt squat. Like, my PR at the time was I think 405, pretty sure. So I hit 407 on the meet, and just like hitting that there was just like insane. I was just like, yeah, like let's go. It was literally like a 2 pound PR, but I was just so happy, and like hitting on the platform was like awesome. Um, but as I was going for my third attempt bench, Ryan was behind the curtain and was just like, "Come on, Alex, fucking attack! Like fucking attack!" And then the person was just like, hello, like, hey, like you can't curse here, like you're gonna get thrown out if you curse. And then Ryan's just like, sorry, I'm sorry. It was hilarious. And then like Luke was like dying laughing, and I was like on the bench, so I didn't hear anything, but I watched videos and it was hilarious. So yeah, that was my first meet. That was my first powerlifting competition. United Barbell, 407, 231, and then 440. Fast forward to 2 months later, ran a program called Smolov and Smolov Junior for bench. Now, do I advise this to people? No. Like people that are listening to this podcast right now, most likely do not run Smolov. I ran Smolov. I was bulking because I was like 175 at the time. I bulked to like 185, so I gained 10 pounds. But yeah, just don't do it because it's not a sustainable program. And I realized that after time because I tried running it again and it just didn't work. But you can use it in some programming principles, but the program itself is just super high intense, and I modified it to make it more, work for me. So instead of squatting 4 days a week, I squatted 3 days a week. I bench 4 days a week, and then I delfted like twice a week. It was just fucking hell, but he got me strong, and I was lucky enough to not get injured on it. And I was super motivated. I actually feel like I'm not doing as much volume as then, and I kind of wish I was because I always feel like, damn, that shit got me mad strong. But I am like in a caloric deficit, and I'm getting ready for my next competition, which I'll tell you guys more about. But yeah, like that program made me so like dumb strong. I switched from high bar to low bar, and my meet was in March because I qualified for nationals. It was Powerlifting America. It was USAPL high school nationals, and I was in the JV division, and I was 83 kg. I was 16 years. I was 15. That's 2019. No, I think I was 16 years old, 15 or 16. But I think I was 16 and 2019, 20. Yeah, I was six. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I was 16. I don't know why I can't piece together. Yeah, 16. Okay. I was 16 years old and I ran Smolov, and at that meet, I squatted 475. So I increased from in 2 months from 405 to 475. Now you see the newbie gains from the beginning, 175 to 225, but on the program and gaining fucking mass, I increased my squat from 70 pounds, and I also gained a lot of weight. I don't remember my bench though. My bench did go up from 231, and then I think at the meet, pretty sure if I'm not wrong, I pressed 265 or 275. I think it was 275, but it might have been like 270, 270. And then yeah, bench is just fuck the bench, man. And then deadlift, I deadlifted 518, I'm pretty sure. My opener I think that's correct because my opener was 474, which is 215 kilos, and then I went up 20 kilos on my second, and I missed it because I literally forgot to put chalk on my hands, right? So like my mom's there, and we're in Louisiana, we're in bumfuck Louisiana, so I'm putting chalk. I didn't put chalk on my hands. Second attempt doesn't budge, right? And I'm like, fuck. And I'm pretty sure I locked it up on my first deadlift anyway. Like I locked up the competition on my opener, I think. But maybe not because I had to pull 20 kilos more and it was 235, so 518. The kid in the back that's about to pull after me, he's pulling after me because he was placing from third to second. So I'm like hyping myself up. He's hyping himself up. He's hyping me up. I slap my face. I'm like, let's fucking go. Put chalk in my hands, pull that shit. My mom's like, yeah. I'm like, I fucking get that shit. She's like, yeah, let's go. That's my son. And I'm like, fucking, I'm literally the fucking shit. And then, yeah, I hype him up to hit like 240 kilos. He fucking fails that shit. It's actually funny because that kid actually goes to fucking Penn State. And I saw him last semester walking. I was like walking to class and I look up and he's wearing the hat and he looks exactly the same. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking. Was that his name? Oh, his name's Reed. I'm like, holy shit, that's Reed. I go on Snapchat. I text him like, yo, bro, is that you? And he was like, yeah, bro, I just saw you. Like, you want to lift sometime? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go let you lift. Still haven't lifted anyway, by the way. But I saw him at Penn State because he goes to Penn State. He's from like Wisconsin, like Kansas or some shit. But yeah, that was hilarious. So yeah, he went for like 529. He didn't budge off the ground, and he didn't come in second. But he was close. And then it was funny because I got piss test at that competition, and the I was under 18 or under 18. So I think you need to have like a legal person or something like that, whatever it was. So the competition's dad was there and he had to like be in the room with me when I was pissing. It was mad weird, but he actually kind of was cool. Like he was like saying congratulations and everything. So yeah, it was awesome. And then yeah, and then that summer is when I got my first coach. So my first coach was and I so obviously won that competition, won high school nationals, JV division, and then my first coach was Pete Rubish. So shout out Pete Rubish. He's actually, put me on his YouTube a couple times. He said he loves me. I love you, Pete Rubish. I love you back. But he was a very solid first coach. I remember when people were talking about like, yo, what the fuck are you doing with Pete? Like, I didn't know Profit too much Profit at the time, but people were like, shitting on me for getting Pete Rubish because they probably wanted me to get, like at the time probably Joey Flex or Sean Noriega or the strength athlete TSA was really big at the time. Bryce TSA, Hanny TSA. I'm not sure if they're still TSA, but they were big at the time. And I did actually message Joey. I think someone said this, but I did message Joey, and he like told me to fill this out, and I filled it out, but he never got back to me. But now me and Joey are chill. But could have been Joey's athlete if that went through, but it didn't. So I started working with Pete Rubish, and I worked with him because I just like loved his videos. I loved his intensity, and he worked out, and how he worked out. So he gave me a solid program. I got strong, and at my next meet, which was Raw Nationals, I squatted into the meet 507. I benched 303. My bench went up a good amount. And then I deadlifted 250. So I deadlifted 551. So 15 kilos more. Cool. So it was really good. I actually made a lot of progress on the platform. I squatted 513, but it went up. But they fucking called me for like soft knees, and I was like, dude, it was just logical. I benched 303 or 308. I might have actually hit a 2.5 kg PB. I don't know if I benched 303. It might have been 303. I think it was 303, but maybe 308, but probably 303. And then I deadlifted, I think 245. I think I deadlifted because I missed 245 on my second. And then I had to pull for the third for 245 for the win against, fuck, I don't even remember his name, but we were talking shit going to this meet. Like we were fucking talking shit, and my boys are backing me up. His boys are backing him up. He had a 330 bench, but his squat and deadlift weren't as good. But he was an overall solid like lifter. But my just squat was much higher. He squatted like 430 or 440. I squatted 485. He benched 330. I benched 303, and then he deadlifted like 518 or 523, and I deadlifted 545. Something like that. So I beat him just by a bit, and I was like, I had to pull my third to win. If not, I'd lose. And I was like, and my fucking forearms are cramping, bro. This is the memories that brings me back because I was going crazy. I was like, dude, if you don't fucking pull this, you're not going to fucking Worlds. And like, yeah, if I didn't fucking pull that, I'm not going to fucking Worlds. Fucking go up there, fucking chalk my hands. My hands are cramping. Pull, like, boom, pull up, throw it down, wait for the white lights, get the white lights, squeeze, like I go squeeze. I literally do like I love doing this. Like I love like that. Squeeze my hands, fucking hand cramps up. I'm like, at the time it was Andrew and Adam Bourne. Shout out Andrew Gleason and Adam Bourne. Shout out. He's like, open my hands. He's like, brother, open those hands. And I'm like literally trying to open my hands. It's fucking crazy. But yes, that was my Raw Nationals. And like I was just so hyped going into that competition. The shit talk we were doing was like, he doesn't. I don't think he even pows anymore. Maybe he lifts occasionally, but it was hype. He really pushed me for that competition, and I want to hit 1422. I think I was like 50 pounds off still. I think I had like 1380 or 13. I think I might even hit 1330. I was like 100 pounds off, but I was like 1422, and yeah, I wanted to hit like certain numbers. It just like didn't happen. I was like just overestimating what I could do. But yeah, that was a fire, just like competition, just like nonstop, just motivation. And then after that, I started working with Sean Noriega. Like literally at that meet, I started talking to Sean because I was like, Pete's a great coach, but then I was just like, I think I should just move on to like a better coach and just expand. So I started talking to Sean, and then he literally started coaching me like a month later in November. And then we worked together for around 2 years, like almost like I think around 2 years, 2.5 years. And that was, we had a great time coaching, or he had a great time coaching me. I had a great time under him. Did our first meet in January, which was pretty early after. Oh, I just hit my fucking nuts. Um, he started coaching me pretty. We did a meet pretty early. It was like the North Beast Iron Classic because they had a prize, and then they had a prize. And I was like, oh, I could probably fucking win that, like no problem, because I was like, I'm the fucking shit. And then fucking now my friend, but at the time I didn't know him. Debo fucking Flex shows up. I'm fucking Debo Flex, and I'm gonna fucking outlift you motherfuckers by 5,000 pounds. Like I didn't know this motherfucker at the time, so I see Debo, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like this, the guy was at the time squatting like I don't think he was probably squatting like 285 kilos, benching like 405, and Delft did like 700 the comp, But now he's fucking Delfting 800. He's fucking benching 450, and he's squatting like 700 or 720. So he pulls up, he wins the $1,000. I'm like, fuck. But I do decent at the comp. I squat 240, which is like 7.5 kg off the American record. Squat 240, bench 140, and then deadlift 255. So 562. Decent comp under Sean. And then we look forward to our next competition, which I think was basically Raw Nationals. Or no, it was team. Oh no, it was fucking high school nationals again because I was still in high school, and I was gonna go compete the varsity division, 83 kg, and I had fucking comp, bro. None of these kids powerlift anymore, which I'm pissed about. But I had some good competition, except for Aiden Raider. I had some good competition going into 83 kg, varsity, and I was like, dude, I'm fucking hyped for this. Like, I'm gonna win this shit. Like, these guys are gonna fucking like put out their best, but I'm gonna fucking be better than them. And then fucking COVID shuts down, and the whole fucking world shuts down. That's when I, commit to Penn State Brandywine, and like, yeah, like that's just basically that. And then basically, my story after COVID is basically I got lucky enough that I just had a home gym. I had a high up power bar and I had pound plates at the time. So I was fucking training. Like I was not stopping. Like I literally just kept training. Like it was nothing. And I know some people were like, damn, COVID just slowed down time. And it slowed down time for me, but it didn't slow down progress at all. Like it did not, like it actually kind of pushed me to make more progress because I was like, I have this time where some people just aren't training. Like some people literally just can't train because they can't get to a gym. They can't afford home gym. I literally have this time to make as much progress as I can. Do not fucking waste this. And I really didn't. And I think COVID definitely like, I'm not saying like helped me, but like it helped me as like an individual because I'm not saying I had these people because of COVID. I mean, it helped, but that's a whole nother thing. But I just like worked super hard during COVID, just in the dungeon, like by myself, and that's what I'm kind of feeling again, and that's why I feel pretty safe and comfortable at the gym right now because I train by myself, and I didn't do that last semester, and I didn't do that before, and I had a great year last year until I got injured and fucking, but yeah, I felt like just safe in this gym and everything like that, and I just made great progress, and I had a great summer with friends, family, everything. And then, I go to Penn State Brandywine. I'm making progress. I go to Power Build. And I'm at the time training Iron Vault. Completely forgot to mention Iron Vault. Shout out Iron Vault. Shout out, all the owner. Shout out all the friends and family at Iron Vault. You guys know who you are. But yeah, like I training at Iron Vault, and then I go for college, train at Power Build, and then that's what I meet. Like just some, Colin Whitney. I just meet some other people at Power Build. But I get ready for soccer, but I'm not done powerlifting. Like I'm like because I didn't even have a season so I was mainly just focusing on powerlifting. So I was like playing soccer, but I was mainly focusing on powerlifting. And I had my eye on a competition in October where I could set American records. So I wanted to break the squat American record, and I wanted to break I wanted to break the squat American record, and I wanted to break. I'm not sure if the deadlift. I didn't think I was gonna be in reach for the deadlift, but the total, like 100% of the total, I was gonna crush the total I crushed the total by 40 kilos. But I set my eyes for competition, and I just made fucking great progress. Into the meet, I squatted 255 into the meet. I benched 155, and then I deadlifted 275. I'm pretty sure those are my best numbers. Yeah. Um, that's crazy. I peaked like if I maybe I gotta look back, but I think it was 275. And then at the competition, I squat 258, American record. I bench 155, and then I deadlift 287, which was American record and a world record at the time for 83 kg, sub junior. Because I was 17 at the time, and then total 700 kilos, which was 40 kilos above. Pretty sure it was Seth Dasuki. Shout out Seth Dasuki. At the time, which he is 660. I put up 700, which was like it was just a fucking absurd at the time. And we're putting up 800 soon, like within like a year, putting up 800. I'm gonna say by next year we're putting up 800. So we gotta do that. By Worlds next year we gotta put up 800. This just has to happen. But yeah, we put up 700, and that's when I kind of like start. People start taking notice. Bigger people start following me, and I was definitely a strong kid. But I started getting recognized and kicking the lifts more. People started recognizing who Alex Fedor is, how fucking like passionate I am about the sport, and I really am. I mean, if like I've been I have my phases where I get into sport a lot, and it's sometimes like just kind of like distance myself from power, not distance myself from powerlifting, but like distance myself from the sport. I still powerlift. I'm never gonna stop powerlifting, but I'll be like, I don't want to hear some people's bullshit. I don't want to watch all the lifts online, and I don't want to like study the sport. But then like right now, I'm like so involved in powerlifting, and I'm 7 weeks out from a really big competition where I'm like so invested in powerlifting. I'm watching Matt Gary. I'm watching Kane Lives podcast fucking every day. I'm listening to all this shit. Like my ears are just flooded with powerlifting. I'm just getting so much knowledge, and yeah, I mean it's just awesome. So I started gaining a social media following. I did social media all before, but that meet like propelled me into I guess into like just now. So that was 2019, 2020. I'm sorry, that was 2020, and then 2021. I don't compete until May, because there was no Raw Nationals that year. Oh yeah, there's no Raw Nationals. We're trying to figure out Raw Nationals. No Raw Nationals. No Worlds. COVID of 2020. 2021. I competed in May. No, I competed in Texas. Oh my god, I literally just missed. Okay, so I squat 250. So then I keep making progress. Next competition was TSS Classic, and I make decent progress. I squat 265, so 584. I bench the same 341, and then deadlift. This is where my first problem arise. I had deadlift grip issues. Not sure why. Just I don't know. I took my opener of 600, 272 and a half, and I made great progress. I think I deadlifted 295 going into the meet. I'm pretty sure. I think 290 or 295. I think 290, and I had great progress, but my grip just wasn't holding up, and it was holding up in the gym, but it wasn't holding up on the platform. Also, that was a little sus at that meet because it was super sweaty in Texas, and also the bars were just not fucking good. They were super sweaty. Not to give excuses, but that just was a weird thing. So after that competition, we just focused on grip. Went into collegiate nationals, placed ninth. Squatted 257 and a half because of that. I went for 272 and a half, missed 272 and a half, and I'm third. Bench 341. I benched 341 for like 4 competitions in a row, and then deadlifted 290. So I fixed grip for that competition. And then next competition, so then I came ninth, and then next competition was T Nationals, which is like 2 months later. This is all from February till May. So it was like 3 competitions in 4 months. It was crazy. May comes, T Nationals. I go to fucking Virgin Islands 1 week out, which is retarded, but we did that. And I have vacation there. And then I fly from Virgin Islands to home to Colorado. Fly to Colorado, take the T National chip. People were, chirping and shit, but I was like, I wasn't really worried about them. I kind of knew. I was like, I have this shit locked up. Like, there's just there was no contest. Like, there was like, I know I have this shit locked up. He thought he could beat me, but he can't. So, squat 265, bench 157 and a half. So I had 2.5 kg PB. And then deadlift, 280. I deadlift 280. I went for 295 on my third for like a 722, 725 total, or 717, something like that. Miss it. 15, 10, 722 and a half. Miss it. I'm like, whatever. Shout out Joey Flex for handling for that competition. And then Sean Noriega is still my coach this time. After that, I'm still powerlifting. I don't do another meet until I didn't do a meet. Oh, I didn't do a meet till fucking Powerlifting American Nationals. So basically a full year of no competition. So I'm just training. I'm just getting strong. I squat 600 pounds. My first 600 that 2021. That during that season, and then I squat 617 a little bit in like November, around October, November of 2021. I bench three. I think I benched 3 reps. I think I benched 375. My bench was doing good. I went on a fat pad, so it kind of inflated it. And then I deadlifted 675 that summer of 2021 on pound plates and shit like that. But yeah, I deadlifted 675. And then, where's, yeah, and then I did so I parted my ways with Sean, and I think March of 2022, I was making great progress, but I just parted my ways. It just wasn't working out. And then I did a mock meet where I peaked myself the entire thing. I think I 3 weeks after not working with him. Training was going really good, so I peaked myself for a mock meet. 3 weeks. It took me like 3 weeks to peak, and I hit 635 squat, 386 bench on a comp bench, and then 700 deadlift, which is fucking insane. 781 kilos total. At the time was 30 kilos. Well, it still is 30 kilos below hack. And it was 10 kilos below his squat record, but not anymore because Eduardo broke it by 10 kilos. Now it's at 308, which is fucking nutty. But yeah, so now we're at an hour and 54 minutes. So we're at 54 minutes. Wow, this podcast is long. But yeah, 781 kilos. And the week after, I started working with TSG, started working with Ben Escrow. And that first week is when I injured my pec. And it's like crazy to even say that. It's just like literally the first week I injured my pec. I'm not putting it on Ben or anything. But it was unfortunate. I switched to Lico. I was on a fat pad. I switched to Lico, and then it was just like a freak accident. It wasn't like my form or shit or anything. It was just like a freak accident. And I mean, what are you gonna do? I can still feel it. It's still bothering me today. It's annoying, but there's literally nothing I can do. So I don't really make a big deal out of it. But at the time, it did hurt me. It hurt me going to nationals. It hurt my confidence. And then training wasn't as good. Training was good for a little bit, but then it wasn't as good going to nationals. So then I had to just start self-coaching. And at this time, I was coaching athletes for around 2 years now. I started Cyborg Strength. Started Cyborg Strength 2021, but I started coaching in 2020. And yeah, like after TSG, I was just like, after basically Ben and TSG, I was like, I guess I just have to self-coach because I didn't really know what to do. And I feel like with him, I was just kind of feeling too beat up and getting injured and just wasn't feeling good under him. And I feel like I could have done a better job communicating, but it was just hard with his programs and everything. Nothing felt it was like right for my body. So I part my ways, and I'm like 3 weeks out. I muster up some strength, because I was like ready to squat 650. Like I was dead ass ready to squat 650. Like bench like 385 and then deadlift like 720. 715, 720. But shit happens. And then I muster up 600, 330 because my pec was fucked, and then 660 at the competition. And I placed second to Sean Jin. He was talking to so much shit in the competition. That's how it is. This is how it is. I'm not gonna talk more about that. But yeah, he was talking shit in the competition. And then I get the spot to Worlds. He gets a spot, but then I get an alternate spot. But I was like, it wasn't even an alternate spot. Like it was like a bid to actually get a spot because our weight class, like the Carpino it just benefited me, and some people just didn't have enough Carpino or IPF points or whatever it was. So just like they gave me a spot because I was like the most impressive, I guess, on like their tier list, and they're like, yeah, you should probably get a spot because you're gonna give us points on Worlds, and I did. I placed fifth, so I did give points there, but. Yeah, so like after that, training has been hard. So even since then, but I definitely been picking up recently in the past few months. But yeah, training at the Worlds, I mean, it was going good. I was doing some high intensity training. I really was, and I squatted 285 going to Worlds, and then and then I deadlifted. My deadlift wasn't going good because of grip again, but I deadlifted 683, which I deadlifted basically 660. And yeah, so Delph was okay, but I was really focusing on grip. But yeah, squatted 285. I benched because I was rehabbing my pec. That's when I also got a physical therapist over the summer to like help my bench. I don't even know what my single was. I mean, I started taking like things on the fat pad, which didn't make sense because I took like 150 for 4, but it just didn't equate to anything that would be on a comp Alico bench. So I don't exactly remember like my highest single I took because I don't know if I remember taking a single, but um that last day I squat 285. I'm feeling confident going to Worlds. I was actually confident. I was like, I'm gonna squat 290 to 295, and I might even go for the record, like go even for the record. If my squat peaked well, I don't know if everything went well. I am doing my last back down. I'm doing 4 sets of 2 with 252.5 kilos, and I feel a pop in my hamstring. I'm just like, bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like it was just like a uncomfortable pop, and I was just like, it was just sore. Like it just felt like fiber, just like, you know. And it took a while to recover, but for the Worlds, I put up 270, and I just wasn't as powerful because I was scared if I was gonna hit the hole hard, I'm literally gonna like tear it even more. So I squatted 270, 595 somehow without hurting it more really. I benched 152 and a half, which I was happy about because it was a 2.5 kg PB since the injury. And deadlift was 297 and a half, which I also was decently happy with because it was not a PB, but it was like decent international. It was decent internationally, and it was 655, which I was decently happy with. But yeah. So that was the latest competition. Oh, well, actually, that was the latest competition, and then we did Open Nationals, which was a couple weeks ago. It was like probably 6 weeks ago. Literally 3 days out, I get sick. Training was going decent. I squatted 275. I benched 160, and I deadlifted 295. I missed 320 and 310 because of 320 was strength, 310 was grip. We're fixing that going for the forward competition. We're learning a lot as we're going on. But I'm much stronger from the beginning. I just have to piece it together. But yeah, we got like sick. I get food poisoning a week out from Open Nationals. So I total 690 kilos. I think at Worlds I total 720, which is 2.5 kg less than 2.5 kg less than PA Junior Nationals, and then Open Nationals. Yeah, I told 690 because I was fucking sick and I just felt like shit. And that was probably the worst 2 days of my life. Honestly, that was probably the worst 2 days. Sitting on an airplane for 4 hours, like sick and just like your stomach, like I'm literally curled up like this on the fucking plane. My head's hurting. I can't eat. I literally couldn't keep food down. Water was hard to keep down. It was a shit show. But um, yeah, that's basically my. I just went through all my powerlifting competitions basically. So that's all my powerlifting competitions. If you guys want to see my history, that you guys can clip that. I just talked about that for like 30 minutes straight. That's my powerlifting history. I'm gonna talk for probably 15 minutes more because decent first episode, and I want to go sleep because it's around 1:15. I have class tomorrow. It's 1:16. Literally, it was just 1:15. But yeah, those are my powerlifting competitions. Now for the future, we have one competition coming up because I can't say two because Worlds isn't guaranteed. But we have Junior Powerlifting American Nationals, which was last year, but now we have this year in Scottsdale, Arizona. Feeling very confident for this competition. Squat's going really good. Took my heaviest training right now. We're 6 weeks out. I took 252 and a half on squat and 285 and a half, 285 on deadlift. And then bench has been because my highest I took is 130. Pec is giving me some problems again, so I have to adjust it, everything like that. So I'm hoping for like a 150 kg bench on bench at this point. But we'll see what we could trade together. And since with the new IPF depth, I have to hit IPF legal depth. At Open Nationals, I hit 145, and then I went for 150, and 150 wasn't legal depth. It just was too high, so I had to change my form after the meet and switch circumstances. So we're open for like 150 at this next competition, but squat and deadlift are going to carry us a lot. I can't say those attempts yet because I don't want people hearing, but we're gonna hit some nice attempts for squat and deadlift. Bench will probably be 150, but we're gonna hide the squat and deadlift, even though my training is very predictable and you guys can see my training and I post that. But the numbers high in my mind, I'm gonna keep it to myself. But yeah, junior nationals, we win if we win that, that is the goal. We would be going to Romania to compete at IPF Worlds again. So that's really the main goal. So I'm not thinking about IPF Worlds because that's later. I am only thinking about Junior Nationals because that's the only thing that matters right now. And if we don't win, we don't get to go. Most likely because with the whole alternate shit, I personally don't want a spot if I come in second. I want to win, and that's how I want to win. If I do get a spot, yeah, I'll probably go again. But I hate becoming second and just be like, oh yeah, you can go. Like I didn't like it even when they gave me the spot last year, but since Carolyn was going, I was like, all right, I'll do it as well. And it was good. It was good. It was a good experience. Um, but yeah, that's really it. It's upcoming competition, goals of the sport. So I got goals of the sport. I mean, besides numbers, I don't really have any. I don't want to set any numbers because I mean, bro, I would 800 squat, 500 bench, 9,000 deadlift. Like like what are some realistic goals I want to hit? Like just as high as I can. I'm not setting a boundary. I hate setting boundaries. Personally, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna cap myself at 750 squat. Like, what if I just squat 771? In 3 years? Like, it's just I don't know. Definitely gonna go up in a weight class very soon. Next year maybe, if not the year after that. But goals for the sport is really I've been thinking about this a lot. Is like leaving a legacy in the sport, and Gavin Aiden says it the best, where I don't want to just be in the sport and people know me and I win a world title and I win a national championship and then they forget about, like, I want to leave a legacy in the sport. That's why I'm creating this podcast. That's why I'm creating different things in the sport. That's why I'm trying to do things with different people. That's why I'm trying to leave my name marked in the sport, stuff like that. I'm trying to leave a legacy in the sport. So it goes so far beyond powerlifting where you're doing things for the community. You're doing things for just like your social media. You're doing things for the world. That's what I want to leave a legacy. He always brings up Arnold. Gavin always brings up Arnold, and I think it's a great person because Arnold, was a bodybuilding phenom, and then he became a governor, and then he did movies and stuff like that, and then he has his legacy of fucking Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just he just left a legacy on the whole entire world because you type in, oh, Arnold, Arnold, and they're like, yeah, I fucking know Arnold, like the bodybuilding guy. Oh yeah, he also ran for governor. Oh really? I didn't know that. But yeah, that's crazy. Oh, he also acted in movies. Oh yeah, in Terminator, right? Yeah. That's what I want to be known for. I want to be known for doing multiple things. I want to be known as a legacy, and people can think about not just one thing, about different things. Powerlifting, soccer, coaching, you know, I was gonna say like fucking like talking, like Gary Vee, how he talks in front of like a conference of people, like motivational talking, podcast, clothing brand, um, president. But like different things I want to be known for. So goals for powerlifting is more like goals for life, just like what I want to leave a legacy for myself because I just want to do it. I want to be known. In 100 years, when I'm not here anymore, people will be like Alex Sador, and they'll be like, "Holy fuck, Alex Sador." That's who you're thinking of, Alex fucking Sador. Like that's insane. Like Alex Sador, like he was the president of 2052, and he was the vice president the year after, and he fucking ended world hunger, and what I'm saying, like shit like that. Like shit's gonna be easy, but like we're here to create a legacy. So that's basically the whole general gist of it. It's like creating a legacy in this fucking world. Whew. Do my math. I haven't talked this much in a while. How many words do you think I spit out? Direction of powerlifting, the sport. I think this is a super important topic because people say we're not going in the right direction of powerlifting. Sheffield, I was just at Sheffield. Phenomenal event. I was there with Carolyn and Sierra, which is my videographer and my friend, and Carolyn's friend. We were there and we were watching Delaney, Atwood, Gavin, Leah, all the homies. And it was literally a phenomenal event. Like it was insane. And I say it once, I say it again, like the live stream just did no justice of the actual event. Like if you weren't there in person, you just did not get the whole grasp of the entire event. It was insane. It was literally insane. You could see my video, check out my Sheffield video on YouTube. Literally insane, like with the cinematics and everything and each attempt and everyone coming. It was insane. So this is a great step in the direction of our sport, and this was supposed to happen in 2020, and that's crazy because I was during COVID, but it got canceled because of COVID. But this was supposed to happen in 2020, but then it got postponed to 2023, and it finally happened, and it was a great step forward in the powerlifting community. But I feel like the goal, the direction of the sport, it's not heading in the best direction where you have all these people and they're just lifting for fun, lifting for TikTok, and I do post on TikTok, but I don't post for TikTok. I don't post to max out on deadlift bar. I don't post for that. And sure, that's cool and all, and I fucking I like that. That content's okay, and it's just like, oh yeah, max out on deadlift bar and like pulling 1,000 pounds. People like that. It's just like like yeah, sure, but then it's just like it's not pushing the sport of powerlifting. You're just lifting a heavy deadlift. You're not actually competing in the squat, bench, deadlift. Like those people that pull massive deadlifts. Tyson, I'm gonna call him out, but he's a great deadlifter. But he's if he goes to the competition, I think he's actually doing one soon. He's pulled 855 before with straps. Like he's gonna maybe pull 750, maybe. Like I think he's gonna pull 700 at the competition if he learns. I don't know. Like at hook, I think he's pulled 900. So like I think 900 to like 750 is probably a better comparison. He has to learn hook. He has to learn over under if he needs to. Like whatever he needs to learn. Like it's gonna be hard. And he just the standard is just isn't there on like TikTok and stuff like that. And people are just training to shit standard. They're benching and their butts are flying up. They're squatting not to depth. So I think like That just needs to change where people need to, because people aren't going to respect the sport, and then people with the whole elbow depth and everything. And I honestly, I'm not going to be mad about the whole elbow depth thing, because people are complaining about the elbow depth and it's not a real bench. Sure, it was in the rules, so I don't really care. I was doing it. But now that it's not, I got to bring my arm to 90, and that's just how it is. And now I'm just building a bigger bench, and I'm growing and more. That's how it is. So people respect the sport, but people aren't going to respect, or powerlifters aren't going to respect 1,000 pound deadlifts that are just like hitch straps. Tech, well, deadlift bar is fine because USPA, but basically, I'm saying not good standards is basically what we don't need to see in powerlifting. We need to see good standards. That's why Sheffield was great, because it was the best of the best. It was the people that compete to the highest standard of IPF. USAPL is great and all. USPA is great, but the IPF just reigns king because of how high the standard is. I was watching collegiate nationals and USA nationals. The difference in judging is just ridiculous. Now the judging at Worlds is strict, but it's consistent. The judging at fucking high school nationals and collegiate nationals is ridiculous. The high school nationals, they're being insanely strict on these kids, these 16, 17-year-old kids. It didn't make any sense. These judges must have been on crack. C nationals, some squats were fucking high as fuck, and I was just like, the standard just isn't there for USAPL. Like, I don't, just some lifts are just not there to standard. And quote me on this, but just like, you could see some people just don't lift the standard, and they get away with it sometimes in the USAPL. And it's just like, it is what it is. But IPF, you're not getting away with that. You're gonna have people contest your lifts. You're gonna have the judges looking at every fucking angle, and if they're gonna, most likely, if you're not to standard, they're gonna give you a red light. And then if they give you a red light and you still get two white lights, you're gonna be like Gavin Aiden and get that shit overturned, and you're gonna be fucking pissed. And then you got to be like, well, like, next time I have to execute better. Even though I fucking, I didn't like how that person overturned that. It is what it is. But like, the standard IPF is just higher, so that's why IPF just needs to grow, and it does grow. It's very international. USAPL is like the only divided thing. America's probably the biggest sport of powerlifting, but it's divided with USAPL and THSPA, which is Texas Federation. So I was saying, if more people can transition to IPF, it'd be more competitive. And well, it is very competitive at the high level, like, at the high level, but at the juniors it could be more competitive, sub juniors, stuff like that. University worlds, shit like that. The standard just needs to be better overall for powerlifting, and if everyone was an IPF, it'd be better. But that's where I kind of want to see, like, the sport go to, like, just a higher standard, and just literally just pushing the sport forward, where you use social media as not a form of like, oh, I just want to gain clout off this lift. Like, oh, I want to actually give people the good information on social media. I want to be a good coach on social media. I want to be a good lifter on social media. I want to be a good role model. This is how people should lift. And that's really what pushes the sport forward, in my opinion. So I'm trying to do that. I really am. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to coach people. I do coach people. But yeah, I think that I'm getting. You guys can see I'm getting tired. But yeah, like, that's what I think. I think, like, the direction of the sport needs to go in. Um, yeah, I mean, that's really it. Direction of the sport, and it just needs to grow, and it needs to be a more community well knit, because this whole goal, fuck, this whole goes in the opportunity of the Olympics, right? And I was talking to Carolyn about this the other day, which is my girlfriend. If you guys didn't know, that is my girlfriend. Well, I think I said that at the beginning of the podcast. But we were talking about this the other day, and I was talking about how the World Games is super important, because apparently they're making a Raw division in 2026. Now, the last World Games was in Birmingham, Alabama, 2022, this past year. Happens once every 4 years, like the Olympics, but it was equipped. I have no reason. I have no idea why they're still equipped powerlifting. Like, I literally, not equipped powerlifting. I don't know why it's getting pushed so much. Like, why is it in the World Games? Why isn't raw powerlifting? But I heard that the raw powerlifting will be in the World Games. Now, this is a fucking insane deal. If the rumors are true, if this gets pushed for 2026, wherever that is, this is an insane deal, because this is one step closer to the Olympics. And if we can get some fucking people in there, like Atwood, Leah, Gavin, the top people of the IPF, into the World Games raw, just pushes the sport forward. That's one step closer to the Olympics, one step closer to becoming an Olympian, and that's like the highest level of thing. Like, you could be a world champion, but the sport's not even known in the Olympics yet. Weightlifting is, but powerlifting isn't. So if we get into the Olympics, it's basically the highest standard for what people think. Oh, you're a world champion. Oh, and what powerlifting? Like, it's cool and all. National champion. Okay, you're a nation. World champion. You're a world champion, and people, that's prestigious. I want to get to that, and I really do believe I am going to get to that. I am going to get to a world champion powerlifter, become a world champion for one of my years. But but when people say world champion, you're like powerlifter, and then they're like, what is powerlifting? Like, you're like, what the fuck? When I'm an Olympian in I'm a gold medal Olympian in powerlifting. Holy shit! You're a gold medal what? Olympian? They kind of even forget about the powerlifting and what sport it is. You're a gold medal what? The people who fucking the skis things, like, what I'm saying? Like, there's the Olympian, the gold medal, and if you are a gold medal, like in the Olympics, it's a big deal. So that's what I'm trying to push the sport forward. And it's super important that we just do that. And I think the World Games is like Sheffield is a great step. The World Games is a great step. Doing Sheffield every single year is going to be a great step. And then we just we just push it to the Olympics and just get it like a well-known sport and, not as niche as it is. We need to get it to more people, and we got to get to the right people. We got to show them what to do and what not to do and the right standards and the right ethics and the right morals behind people, because some people just use social media, the powerlifting, when they're lifting to show off their body or show off like that. Like, no, you want to powerlift to be strong. You're not powerlifting to show off your body. You're doing powerlifting to be strong. That's why we powerlift. So if you are going to gain a social media following because you're strong and you're a powerlifter, and push that forward for the sport of being a powerlifter because you're powerlifting. Don't push on your social media of how you look, even though you could push aesthetics, stuff like that, bodybuilding's in there. But when people take advantage of how they look, it goes back to, it doesn't even relate to powerlifting anymore. It just relates on how attractive they are to other people. So that's why I do post sometimes, I do post aesthetics and stuff like that. But that's not my main thing. I just post that for myself. And I post that for like my physique update. I focus on powerlifting, and that's why I want to gain my following, because I'm strong and I promote good powerlifting content. I don't want to gain my following off how I look, even though that's how some people gain their following, and that's totally okay. That's just how it is. But if you're a powerlifter and you have a following, push powerlifting to make the sport push forward. That's basically it. So I am done, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate watching this first episode. It says it's gonna be 30 minutes. It's an hour and 15. Thank you guys for watching. It has been a pleasure talking to you on the Carbs and Caffeine podcast. I'm probably gonna post this on YouTube, but we got the stickers coming. We're gonna have stickers coming soon. Shirts coming soon. Hoodies coming soon. Logo coming soon. Everything coming soon. I'm hyped. It's 1:15. I'm gonna go to sleep in a bit. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate if you stay to the end and you just heard me talk for an hour and 15 minutes. I can't appreciate you enough to hear. I don't even know if I'd hear myself talk for an hour and 15 minutes. I love watching other podcasts. But if you guys literally watch for an hour and 15 minutes, please DM me, and I will just please DM me on Instagram, and I'm going to give you my best gratitude. But if you stay the entire time, DM me on Instagram, and let's talk on Instagram, because you just watched an hour and 15. You listened to an hour and 15 in my podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Carbs and Caffeine here. Carbs and Caffeine podcast by Alex Ador. Some special guests coming on in the next few weeks. We don't know if we're going to do episodes weekly. I'm not sure yet, but I told you I'm not going to rush the process. Whenever it feels right. But we'll have some special guests on here. This podcast is going to go to the moon. #1 podcast in the world soon. And let's keep going. See you guys.